Center for Management Studies. We are extremely happy to see you at the Startup India Day program organized by BBA Entrepreneurship.
Jain, deemed to be university, stands as a beacon of excellence in education, consistently achieving remarkable milestones since its inception. The university holds the 62nd rank in the NIRF 2025 Ministry of Education, Government of India, and has been awarded an A++ grade, a 3.71 CGPA by NAAC. It is accredited by the National Board of Accreditation, NBA, and certified for quality management by ISO TUV Nord.
Jain University is also a distinguished member of the Association of Universities of Asia and the Pacific and has been ranked among the top 8 private universities in India by India Today Best Universities Survey 2025. In recognition of its efforts in sports, the university was awarded the Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar 2023 by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports under the category Identification and Nurturing of Budding Young Talent.
Adding to its accolades, the university was named University of the Year 2024 by the Services Export Promotion Council SEPC, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India.
Center for Management Studies is an integral part of Jain deemed to be university. It is dedicated to shaping future business leaders and aspiring media professionals with a strong global outlook. According to the India Today Best College Survey 2025, FMS UG secured the 9th rank for BBA programs in India overall and stood at 3rd position in academic excellence. We have also bagged 73rd rank in NIRF by Ministry of Education, Government of India 2025.
Furthermore, we are honored to share that as per Times BBA Educational Ranking Survey 2024, CMS has achieved the #1 place among top BBA places. Number 5 in the South Region, number 19 among the top 70 BBA institutes in India.
The BBA Entrepreneurship Program at Jain deemed to be university is an innovative initiative designed to bridge the gap between academic learning and the startup world. Through hands-on exposure to industry practices, leadership training, and strategic decision-making, BBA Entrepreneurship has created over 20 startups and there are more in the pipeline. I request Kushmanjali to play the BBA Entrepreneurship video.
True leadership is not about being in charge, but about taking care of those in your charge. With this, I want to extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to our visionary leader, Dr. Dinesh Neelkant, Professor and Pro-Vice Chancellor of Jain, deemed to be University and Director of Center for Management Studies. He is a leader of exceptional caliber and whose dedication has impacted over 10,000 plus students at CMS since its inception. Let us join together in a resounding welcome to our esteemed director. We now humbly request her to
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And morning, one and all.
Good morning.
Respected, guest, Kanwal Rekhi sir, and Mr. Ed, and all the other delegates who have come with the head of the departments and the faculty members. Am I audible there?
Yeah.
So I welcome all of you on behalf of Jain University Center for Management Studies to this particular day of startup. And it's very interesting that that we have doing this. We are doing this continuously, and we have a very good response for that. So I appreciate the efforts of all the organizers, and I think especially and the teams for putting such a wonderful event. Because whatever conversation I had with Kanwal Rekhi sir, it was like I thought that we did a mistake for such a long years that we didn't teach you entrepreneurship. And now it has picked up. Maybe the last decade it has been picked up that entrepreneurship has to be taught. When the word entrepreneurship comes to my mind, one thought comes to my mind, and I thought I will share that. Entrepreneurship is not about having an idea. Now all of you will start looking at me and say that what it is. Entrepreneurship is having an idea and executing it brilliantly. That is entrepreneurship. Having an idea is not entrepreneurship. It reminds me of a very interesting thing, what happens at Google. Google has a concept of Idea Lab. And the boss of this is Bill Morris. So what Bill Morris does is that there is a book called Idea Book in Google. And there are thousands of employees. So if they have any idea, they go and enter that idea in that book. And that is a book what Bill Morris maintains. So at a point of time, somebody asked Bill Morris that, can I have that book and I want to read those ideas. Then he said, what you will pay to me for that? So just putting a word to you that if at all you were there and you wanted to read that book, how much you would have paid for that? In general, anybody? Ideas of all the Google Walas, they're supposed to be the best brains of this world. And they have written their ideas in a book. And that book is with Bill Morris. And he says that if you want to read that book, you have to pay me something. So what do you think that how much you would have paid?
10 million.
How much?
10 million.
Okay, then anything else?
9, 10.
Okay. You know what? The answer came only from 2 people. Thank you. And all my students are just thinking that there is a need now actually to teach entrepreneurship. And the second part of it is that Bill Morris made a very interesting statement. Don't pay even a single dollar. Why? Because you will pay only when you execute it. And that is execution. So entrepreneurship and execution goes together. All of them have ideas of Ola Uber, but then only one person executed it. Everybody had an idea of renting out a place, but Airbnb did it. You are getting what I'm saying. Everybody has an idea of something, but somebody implemented it and they are making money out of it. So unless and until you are going to put effort into it and execute it, then that idea becomes worthwhile. You have to understand, you have to understand the gap, whether actually there is a need for this idea to exist. Am I over-promising and underperforming? That also have to look into. I'll be more interested in creating a value in it rather than volume in it. Because I have to create that and then people will come to you. Simple logic of idea is that you have an idea, add creativity, add value to it, make it visible, and then people start appreciating it. People say that, yes, this is of use to me. When it is becoming useful to public, then only it works. Otherwise, it doesn't work. You may have, and if at all your idea is complicated, keep in your pocket, nobody will. Because your idea should be so simple. I've seen a lot of people coming to me and say, sir, I have an idea, and they create a very complicated solution. And if it is not understood by people in 1, 2, and 3 steps, nobody is going to accept it. And if technology is not making your life easy, and if it is making it complicated, it is not technology. It is a burden. And normally people have understood one more thing. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit of time. But then the thing is that people think that idea means technology. There are a lot of other things where you can definitely do. Simple thing I'll tell you, go to Gonzalo. Okay? Pick certain thing. 25 lakh invest karo, idhar aake 50 lakh bano ek mahine mein. वो भी idea ही है. It's very simple. And in Gonzo, if you go and if you are just going around the streets, if you just go to the lighting street, it takes 8 kilometers. So when you finish your lighting shop, till then your stationery shop is just left as it is. So first of all, you require 1 month to be there. And then pick up your things, come to Bangalore, come to Chennai, wherever you are staying, take one bhade ka jaga, put all your things, put some lights on it, 25 ka 50 ho jayega, ho gaya business. Are you getting what I'm saying? This is the way you have to start thinking. And I like that idea of Rekhi Saab. He said that, go to villages. There are so many things which you can bring in and make difference. It's not about only technology and all those things. Gone are the days. And your existing business very soon will become go downs. Anyway, thank you. Welcome to Entrepreneurship Day.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Startup India Day celebrates the spirit of innovation, entrepreneurship, and the bold ideas shaping India's future. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Startup India Day 2026 at Jain University Center for Management Studies. It is a pleasure to have you all here as we gather to recognize the achievements of our budding entrepreneurs and to inspire the next generation of business leaders. As we embark on this exciting journey of discovery and learning, I encourage all the participants to engage, network, and seize the opportunities that this event presents. Let us celebrate the entrepreneurial spirit and the power of new ideas.
Once again, I welcome you to the Startup India Day event, and I wish everyone a fruitful and inspiring experience. With immense pride and gratitude, I would like to introduce our chief guest, Mr. Kanwal Rekhi, Silicon Valley pioneer and the first Indian-American founder to take a VC-backed startup public. He has mentored thousands of founders and invested in hundreds of early-stage teams. His portfolio includes 7 unicorn companies and 2 public listings. As the founder of TIE, he remains committed to building the next generation of resilient entrepreneurs. It is with profound pride and honor I invite Sir to address the gathering.
No, I said it 9 ideas. That's a Silicon Valley saying, the ideas are dime a dozen. Ideas don't mean anything. It's that sweat equity, it's that effort you put in to make it happen. That's where the value is. So when I arrived in Silicon Valley, the US in 1967, the brand idea was very simple. The land of snake charmers, the land of beggars. That's the image we had. And there was nothing you could tell them, that we're smart people here from IITs. No, you guys cannot even feed yourself. We had a famine in India in 1966. The US had to ship millions of tons of wheat to keep Indians from dying. I don't think anybody in this room remembers that, right? Yeah, that's when Lal Bahadur Shastri said, we need to not eat one day a week. So the history is very recent. History is very recent. And I also want to make another point. And the brand India is not different. Brand India is now an entrepreneurial in a technology powerhouse. Right? This is on in my lifetime, in the last 58 years. When the British took over Delhi in 1800, India was the #1 economy in the world. It was 25% of the world's GDP. We are the most entrepreneurial, most productive people in the world. British came here not to teach us. They came here to learn from us and then suit us. Right? And when they left in 1947, the Indian economy was only 2% of world's GDP. They had bled us dry. But the tragedy of India is not the British. The tragedy of India is our own people. When the Indian government took over in 1947, we were 2% of the world's GDP. By 1991, we were only 1% of the world's GDP. We adopted this socialist economies. We disempowered our people. We had this notion that bureaucrats and planning commission knows best. I can go on and on. They reduced us even further. Good thing that we had a visionary prime minister in 1991. He turned the ship around, and now we are 3.5% of the world GDP. We are 4th largest economy in the world. And without much effort, we'll be 3rd largest pretty soon when we rotate Germany in the next 3 to 4 years. Are we happy with 3rd largest? Should we try to be #2? Or should we reclaim our rightful place of being #1? So that's the challenge I throw out to people. I'm not saying it will happen in my lifetime, but that ought to be our aspiration and that ought to be our goal. By the end of this century, 300 years after the British took over Delhi, we ought to be back to being #1. And that will only happen if we have faith in our entrepreneurs, and faith in our people. This notion of control, this is luxury. When I was growing up, a telephone was a luxury item. And if you want a telephone line, it took you 7 years. You applied for a telephone line at home, 7 years later, you got the phone. And if you want to buy a scooter, which was also a luxury item, it took 3 years. That is scooter. We had these controls and license and permits, and we need to have faith in our people. We need to turn them loose. Why do a person like me, an ordinary Indian like me, from Toronto, who went to Hindi medium schools, becomes a world beater when he ends in Silicon Valley? That environment is very conducive. We have nothing wrong with us. We have nothing wrong with our genes. We are very smart people. We are very entrepreneurial people. It's that environment where we blossom. I can go on and on, but we'll have the debate. My whole thesis is, can we have 1% of the Indians become entrepreneurial by 2047? We have 200,000 now. That will be 50 times as many people. If we have 1% of the Indians become entrepreneurial, all the problems disappear. There will be no poverty. And I don't mean the unicorns. I mean entrepreneurs at every level. I was in Nizamabad. Oh, by the way, this trust is a Kanwal Rekhi Rural Entrepreneurship Center in Nizamabad, where we are trying to train the rural entrepreneurs. Two stories. A student from one of the engineering schools, it is BTech, went back to his village in Nizamabad, near Nizamabad. He very quickly realized all the tools used by his uncles and father and other farmers in the village were very primitive. And he started to redesign the tools for them, and he started to help them a few simple things. And very quickly, the income of the village, farmers doubled. Very quickly, like within a year. And people from the other neighboring villages started to come and say, can we get those tools. So he started a business to manufacture those tools. And 70,000 farmers in that area are using his tools now. He has a business which is about 5 crore. This is not high tech. This is not software. This is not AI. And so when I met him, he's bubbling with energy. He has ideas. He thinks he can make the business 50 crore within 3 to 4 months by improving further and making them power tools using solar and battery. That's what I'm talking about. The Indian going back to their villages, going back to their third tiers and fourth tier cities, using the latest these new ideas and transforming and solving local problems. And there was another girl. She went to IIT Bombay. She got a job in Bombay, working for a big company, and she very quickly realized none of the people that she knew had ever been to a village in India. All these engineers and programmers and none of them had ever been to a village. So she organized a tour of 12 of them to her village. Because she was from a village before she went to IIT. These people came and their eyes opened up, and all of a sudden they started saying, I need to maybe educate other Indians. And so she set up this company called Village Tourism. And she has now 20 or so villages all over India. They have set up a little bit of a hostel so people can come. The tourists are coming from Japan, France, all over India. And some of the people who are farmers, making 20 lakh rupees, of income, they're making 5 times as much income, taking this tourism. All of a sudden, she has a very sizable business and growing very rapidly. That's what I mean. Entrepreneurs solving problems, the entrepreneurship, I do want to tell you, Professor Nakant mentioned, it's a personal quest. It's an attempt to achieve your potential. I use the word, Hindi word, is a tapasya. It's your tapasya. You're going out and spending 3 to 4 to 5 years, achieve your full potential. It's an effort. It's a declaration of independence, personal declaration of independence, where you said, I am going to make it happen for myself and environment around myself. Anytime an entrepreneur succeeds, it does a lot of good. My company, when it went public, had 500 employees, 100 of them became millionaires. They were set for life. Huge value that created not for myself, but a large stability. These people become very, very successful in their own life. So I do want to mention that entrepreneurship is a goodness itself. It's like Dr. Bhaktai, in this entrepreneur, in a very lofty terms. Time was a very spiritual experience for me. It wasn't, I'm not making money in time. It was a way, we framed it as India's second independence movement. We got our political freedom in 1947, and this is to achieve our economic freedom. How do we empower enough people, our people, and become job creators rather than job seekers, become wealth creators? If problem is poverty, the antidote is more wealth, and wealth is produced only by entrepreneurs. So let's focus on fundamentals, so maybe you can talk more about my book. But my book is all about this idea. The Indians are as good as people as any other. And our time has come. We finally have got it right. We finally are putting faith in our people, but we still are taking baby steps. We're still taking baby steps. If I was the Prime Minister, I'll get rid of Niti Aayog. 160-page definition of a startup. Niti Aayog has a 160-page definition of a startup. It requires you to have a certification of somebody to tell you you have innovation. Who the hell knows what an innovation? Who's smart enough? Have anybody thought that village tourism is the innovation? Would have anybody thought including those farm tools? I think this has a still bureaucratic in your thinking. We need to let it happen. We need to turn our people loose. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insight. I would like to request our Pro Vice Chancellor and Director, Dr. Dinesh Neelkant, to honor our chief guest. We would also like to present the Rekhi, a token made by the students of the Entrepreneurship program.
Just press that button. Yeah, thank you.
This is a gift by the WOW students, their products.
Okay. Let the students play.
Please sit, sir. Please sit.
Now I'd like to call upon Vineet, sir, to honor our guests. First, I'd like to call upon Mr. Ben Rekhi. Now I'd like to call upon Mr. Gaurav Ved. Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to call upon Mr. Madan Mohan Rao. Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to call upon Mr. Vinay Dora, sir. Thank you, guests. This brings us to a very special moment in today's program. We are honored to host the launch of Mr. Rekhi's latest book, The Groundbreaker. And there's no better place to unveil it other than the Jain University Center for Management Studies. I would like to call upon our Pro Vice Chancellor and Director, Dr. Dinesh Neelkant, the author, Mr. Kanwal Rekhi, and founder of MXR-world, Dr. Madan Mohan Rao, to unveil the book.
Please sit, sir.
Moving forward, we would request Dr. Madan Mohan sir, founder of MXR-world, to take us through the exciting parts of the book, along with an interesting conversation with the author, Mr. Rekhi. Please can hear a round of applause.
Thanks, everyone, and good morning. Thanks for being here for National Startup Day event. We have with us the rock star of entrepreneurship, and I thought we should begin with taking the rock star selfie with Kanwal and all of you. So, Kanwal, can you just stand up and turn around and just take a selfie with our audience at the back? Everyone. Thanks. So, this is the first book I've read this year. It's the first book I've published a review of also. Please go online, connect with me on LinkedIn and see the review of this book. More importantly, please buy the book and learn from the lessons from the Grand Master of entrepreneurship. This is a very well-named book, The Groundbreaker. Kanwal ji has been a manager, a CEO, an entrepreneur, head of a company which went IPO, angel investor, VC, policy consultant, mentor, and what else? Kanwal ji, what would you like to be remembered for among all these other honors that you've done?
You know, I start by saying, I'm a simple person. A refugee kid from Pakistan at the time of partition, 1947. A simple, ordinary Indian growing up in UP, but had a good luck and good fortune of making it to IIT Bombay, sharing in IIT Bombay. And that changed my life. So I talk about myself as being an IITian, an Indian, an engineer, an American, a Silicon Valley, entrepreneur, the most exciting part of my life is that. And now, I interact myself most as the angel, investor, and mentor. I don't like being a VC. If you don't have a VC, 10 years, you're very sensitive. VC is not a wholesome activity as angel investor is. You very, put into yourself at least money and very younger people. So, what else is there? I would have never believed that I would have achieved the heights, like the heights that I did. But it made me wonder why me? What am I the only one? I wasn't the top student at IIT. I wasn't the top student anywhere. So it tells me that there's something there that sparked me my interest. And when I look back, in my case, with my wife, I married in America. She had more belief in me than myself. She kept saying, but why do you think, that you can do this in here? You can do it, And eventually, I had to ask me, why not me? Why can't I? If everybody else is becoming an entrepreneur in the valley, why not me? Just because of Indians, that was the answer. Somebody has to be first one, right? So, I don't know if there's anything left to do for me. If I die tomorrow, I'll die very happy. And but I, hoping to live another 20 years. Probably 80.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Among the many achievements of Kanwal ji is he set up something called the Indus Entrepreneurs, TIE. I'm a TIE Bangalore charter member, and this story goes back almost 30 years. And there are now TIE chapters in some 40, 50 cities around the world. So it's a replicating network mesh kind of a model. So Kanwal ji, why do you think TIE has worked so well? And where do you see TIE going in the next 10, 20 years?
So TIE has 70 art chapters in 14 countries. And I think the last there were 25 chapters in India. And I just heard chapter from Europe and the chapter is from South Africa. So second tier cities are starting level. So what happened when there were 7 of us who had done well in the valley, and we met at a meeting in 19 and we started to compare notes. And one thing that we discovered that we had very, very lonely journeys. There was nobody available to mentor us, nobody available to talk to when you needed some help in place. And because nobody believed in us. Nobody believed that we could do it. The Indians had been typecast by that time, somehow we have this mathematical gene, it gives us a special ability to be able to design the right software. But we are senior dimensional people. We can we sell? Can we market? Can we be general managers? Can we manage money? None of that was proven. And so we were like American, African Americans. They have a special gene to become athletes, right? So they make a rationalize of Americans. Oh yeah, we we are white guys, we have special genes to be the bosses, the leaders. We have a special gene to be a techie. Very self-serving, right? So we said it shouldn't have been that lonely. We should become the mentors, we should become the role models, we should become accessible to younger people. We should inspire, encourage our people to become entrepreneurs. And that was the genesis of TIE. And TIE was an idea whose time had come, like Mr. said, the idea whose time has come, nobody can stop it, right? So TIE was an idea whose time had come. We didn't have the grand ambitions to make a worldwide, organization. We were just trying to help the other entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. And the first event we held, we thought 100 people might show up in the workshop for entrepreneurs. 500 people signed up. So, there was a, thumping utter response. When we said, we are doing the whole workshop, 500 people signed up. And so we had to organize, to make sure that we deliver the value. And that workshop went very, very well. And there were people present from East Coast and said, we need to do the same thing in Boston. Somebody said, we need to do it in LA. We were not organized enough to become more separate. But this is what we're doing. Here's our motto, here are our bylaws, go do it. And before we knew, 12 chapters formed like that. They were all local efforts. They were all, they liked what we were doing. They replicated what we were doing. And it was a simple formula. Put a focus on entrepreneurship, do a simple workshop. Where you become available, you talk about your story, you talk about what it takes to raise money, what it takes to, So the idea, just because you put focus on something, that starts to make it happen. And this was 92, 93. By 95, Indians were doing startups in the very, sure people know Hotmail, people know Exodus. They were, many startups, which happened between 95 and 2000 in the valley, and that put us on the map. And once that started to happen, everybody notices it all over the world, right? And by 98, 99, we were in India, and we held this seminar in Bombay and Delhi in, I think, 98 or 99, I don't know which year, but it was titled Entrepreneurship and Wealth Creation, Silicon Valley Star. And that was the first time anybody talked about that in India. And the rest is history, right?
The rest is history. Thanks. So the book has about 25 chapters, and it's a mix of three things. Each chapter is a story of what he went through in India, in the East Coast, Silicon Valley, coming back to India, and so on. It also has business lessons for entrepreneurs, how to read a business plan, how to look at the numbers, how to see the broader ecosystem. And the third thing is, it's a history of the growth of business in India and in the US in parallel. So you're getting three things for the price of one in this one book. So please do check out this book. Now, Kanwal, one theme that you come up with very often in the book is betting on people. So there are ideas, there's technology, there's companies, but it's all about people. So as an investor, as a mentor, how do you assess the quality of the founding team? What do you look for in an entrepreneur and see, he or she will succeed because of this?
So if you search on the Google Star entrepreneurial traits and use my name, you'll have it. Article I co-authored with Professor Prahlad, C.K. Prahlad. By the way, C.K. Prahlad was very much part of our ties. He got really enamored with what we're doing, and he requested that, hey, can we make him a charter member? We were more than happy. And then he wrote that famous paper of the House of Tie. That's if you search that, that's also available on the internet, the House of Tie. Where he gave the theoretical underpinnings of what we were doing. Technology is always changing. Markets are always changing. You can't bet on a technology for very long. Every day there's a new idea, new technology. So the thing which is constant is the person who is doing it. It's like, talk about an entrepreneur, he makes it different. Same technology, same markets, one person wins and the other person doesn't. So it's back to the, things, it's like, talk about a startup is like driving on a mountain road at night. The road bends as hairpin bends. You don't have much visibility beyond your headlights. And how do you stay on the road? How do you stay on the road? When the road turns, how do you turn and not get on the road? You need a person, who is very, very aware of the environment he's playing in. So I thought, about, the balance has to be on him. His leadership style, his ability to assemble a team, his ability to look at the problem that needs to be solved. By the way, I don't think, you should look at technology and say, I got AI, I'm not a dependent entrepreneur, what should I do? I always tell the entrepreneurs should look the other way around. Here's a problem that needs to be solved. And I can solve this, using this technology. So you go outside and come back in. You're solving the problem that you have identified. You have very good idea, a set of customers that who have that problem. And this problem has more than a one-off problem or a one-off person. So you need to, I go back to the my 50s experience in India. A radio ad used to be very simple. Sir dard ke liye aspirin lijiye. I don't know if everybody knows that. Very simple definition of the problem and very simple definition of the solution, right? And that's the same thing I tell people. Find the pain point, find the pain and offer a cure. You say whatever you have. And so it's all about people. It's all about, their ability to identify a problem, their ability to assemble a team. And technology is part of it. Financing is part of it. The bulk of it's the person. And by the way, Microsoft, one of the largest richest company in the world, only raised $1 million. Only raised $1 million. Google only raised $2 million. So when I see people raising billions, I say, ooh, I don't know. I don't know what these people. They think money is the solution. Is the human ingenuity.
Human ingenuity. Thanks. This book is full of lessons for entrepreneurs. In my review, I pulled out about 15 lessons. But I'd like to ask the last question to you now. What is the one most important piece of advice you would like to give founders in this day and age? One piece of advice.
Stay humble. Stay humble to the process. You haven't done it until you have done it. And stay thankful, even when you have done it, by the grace of God, I got lucky. Humility is absolutely required, to make it happen. Leadership is, is all about being able to humbly manage people. If you have to demand, from other people acceptance of you as a leader, you have failed. Your performance, your approach, and also being fair. Because you as entrepreneurs have to be very fair. And I use the word term fair very, very broadly. It's a high pressure environment. It's a very high pressure environment when you do a startup. Nothing works. Money is short. Any sense that the environment is not fair is very corrosive. You need to make sure that you are respecting others, their contribution, and acknowledging that, right? Because it's a team sport. Your team needs to be inspired. They need to be acknowledged. Their contribution needs to be acknowledged. The sense of fairness, fair play is there. There are a couple of other things, you read that article. The third one I want to add is intellectual honesty. You have to be your own harshest critic. Why am I the boss? Am I adding enough value? Am I making everybody more productive, or am I getting in their way? intellectual honesty is absolutely required, because if you are the bottleneck, as a person, your decisions are not this. You have to be able to defend everything you do. Doesn't mean that you have to be easy on people. Doesn't mean that you have to be, but you cannot be any harsher on anybody else than you are on yourself. So you hold yourself accountable. Before you hold anybody else accountable.
Correct. Kanwal has a very hard time stop. We have to finish at around 11:15. So Kanwal, we have about 3 students who have to pitch their ideas for you for some feedback. Vinay, would you like to take over, and my co-founder Vinay Dora?
We have 3 students here. We also discussed the book on Sunday morning, 7 a.m. at Cupboard Park. So if you're interested, let us know. So, over to you. Pictures?
Mr. Rekhi, 3 of our students would like to pitch to you.
Yeah.
They've all worked on their startup. So we'll start with Sarah.
I'll stand here.
That's right.
All right. So, most of you call them pets, but we call them family. When we practically rearrange our lives around our pets, why should caring for them feel so fragmented? Today, pet parents jump from clinics to online platforms to contacts of their friends and acquaintances just to find a right vet, just to find the right food for their pet, or even to adopt their pet. Today, the pet population in India has exploded from 26 million to 48 million in just 5 years. Yet 40% of Indian pet parents struggle with pet ownership, and they struggle with trust, accessibility, and consistency. This is where we come. Ketpa. We aim to cater to every aspect of pet ownership. Whether it's giving you that wonderful experience of adopting your very first pet, or finding the right trainer for your fragile dog, or if it's even insuring your pet for travel or health reasons, we will have it all. We aim to bring a sense of trust and reliability to the pet care in India, so that if you have a late night health scare, or you want to make a small decision related to your pets, or you even want to adopt your very first pet, Ketpa is the default that you turn to. Thank you.
Sarah, so your take on it.
But I know pet business is a very large business in America. And almost all the households in America have a pet, either cat or a dog. Those are two popular pets. So, I'm happy to hear that 48 billion pet owners in India. We have the food supply. By the way, the pet food supply in America, if I remember right, is more than $500 billion. That's just the food supply, not to mention anything else. So we have the pet food, somebody manufacturing pet food, cat food, dog food.
Yeah, there are many players in the Indian market to supply things.
Are you the app which organizes this? You're not a physical store or physical supply.
No,
you
we're going
are
to start off as a platform.
You're a resource.
Yeah, and we're going to be an aggregator because there are already services, there are already products.
So people start with you to when they have the issue, they start with you. Yeah, it's a wonderful business to have. The thing which has happened with the smartphones and apps, we can organize a very disorganized sectors. And providing people. We have a company in Bombay, which is the elderly care. All the issues that elderly have, now the Indian elderly are lonely because children are moved away, they are still young. Any issue they have, and they are doing really well. They started about 2 years ago. They have 4 million people signed up. So I'm sure if we have the app, providing the solution, they should do well. India is very. So let me give you another perspective. India is very inefficient as a country, very inefficient. An average Indian income GDP per person is only $25. $2,500. The average American GDP per person is $75,000, 30 times more. Only because the Americans are very efficient, Indians are very inefficient. So so these things will add, as you add your organized sector, the disorganized sectors to become more organized, to be able to work everywhere.
Next would be Yash.
Not all three of those entrepreneurs out there. We have.
Hi everyone, I'm Yash Melwani. So in India, sweets is not just food, it's the way we celebrate, it's the way we share love, and of course the way we mark moments. But today something has changed. People love sweets, yet we hesitate to consume them. It's actually the culture which we are trying to forget, and now it has become again. Maybe refined sugar or zero transparency is the reason. Yeah, refined sugar, zero transparency has become a reason why we are trying to avoid them. And it's not the sweet which is the problem. It is the way we make them. And I guess this is where Melwani's as a brand stands a chance to change it. We are trying to build an Indian traditional sweet brand, which is trying to revive back simple recipes using natural sweeteners like jaggery and date sugar. Not to make sweets healthy, but to make sweets trustworthy. Because I somewhere personally believe that India is a massive sweet market, but it is standing at a point where it needs change. Change where people can hold on to tradition and accept something new with some new modern updates. And at the end, I would just say, as part of Melwani's, if at all we can change how we look at one laddu today, then we can change or trigger the change in the minds of the future generations of how they look at Indian traditional sweets. That's the brand I'm building. Thank you so much.
The English language after movie there is a unorganized sector. The quality is uneven. So if you can start to have a branded stuff, with no quality, they should do Haldiram has shown, you can taste simple, stuff like that, and make a large business out of it, right?
Actually, I did make some sweets today, so would you like to taste it?
Laddu, right?
Yeah, so it's made from date sugar and millet.
How many calories?
It's only 70 calories.
Only.
Chocolate is laddu, huh?
Sorry, sir?
Is that chocolate is laddu?
No, there's no chocolates.
Yeah, that's just the date.
It's only date sugar.
Now you have come up with a new name. This is not the laddu. Yeah, that's only laddu. As it's own. Yeah, right. So you'll have to market it.
So I'll do that.
Taking what you have and organizing is a different thing, but when you start to have a product which is unfamiliar, there's the education that you should take. It's very hard to change people's taste, and the adoption is slow. So, if we can make a traditional laddu with maybe Splenda or something, which is very close to 90%. And they're much better off than having to use then even though it's healthier. If everybody is healthier was enough, everybody will be eating healthier. They're not. So you take what they eat and make it healthier.
And tell the person to stay and then show them the rest of the
Change of behavior.
video and the show. It's completely so I
You don't want to have
since the dignitaries are
business
getting late, we
distractions.
will wait for them next comment. Then next
So,
protocol,
that's it. Job.
to see
big
the
topic.
next appointment.
Big job.
We would request them to dispose.
Yeah.
No, not dispose. We
Billion
would
of dollars.
request the audience to stand instead of she's doing.
But
Next
you
week.
by
This
the
street
you
would
there,
open soon.
big job started by simple music. With the iPod. Your iPhone was much later, right? If everybody listens to music, I make your music portable and you carry that with you. That's how the iPod started.
So the third person is Aditya Mishra.
Good morning to one and all present here. My name is Aditya. I'm the founder of Specular. And I think everyone here is a particular, plays some particular sports. But I think all of us here plays esports. So my brand Specular Esports aims to solve that one problem that Indian gaming ecosystem faces: recognition and monetization. These two words hit me like a rocket in my heart. And when I was playing my first esports tournament in India, and I was there, and I felt that I've played for 10 hours a day every time, and now I'm here losing my team and losing my conscience because I could not gain money out of something that I hard work for, and that's why I created Specular. Now, Specular organizes competitive tournaments in esports, and it is done through a very unique way, and not done through the competitors that we have. Competitors in India of the gaming ecosystem, they left India and joined hands with Indonesia, Malaysia, and these other Southeast Asian countries to increase their revenues and play. But one thing that they forgot was the age group of the gamers, that is 15 to 25. And most of these people are in colleges. So our solution to that problem, the monetization and recognition, is to conduct esport events and tournaments across campuses in India and beyond, and to give all the gamers in India a different perspective about taking the gaming as a career path. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, I don't have enough understanding to give advice. But if you are going to organize supports, there's a physical activity, with trust, money. In this day and age of technology, apps, you want to use it as lightweight stuff. Somebody else is doing the work. I can always organize that. Now I think about that should be this top up with the transaction and make local advice as your manufacturers. You start to brand your stuff and it's available through your local shop. Doing it yourself is a very slow process. It requires a lot more capital. Eventually that will be there, but right now there's a low-hanging fruit where you can do an app to organize the stuff out there and not have to do it yourself. And very quickly, make the thing a lot more productive. So I don't have enough understanding, but my sense is that if you're going to have to organize tournaments, it'll be a slow process.
I'd like to invite the three founders to join us here for a photograph.
There's one more.
The other part of the
Sir, there's one more founder.
Naman Parekh.
A very good morning to one and all present here. I'm Naman Parekh. Parekh Motorins was once a father-son passion project, and now it's a full-fledged classic and vintage restoration services. We help classic car owners and collectors to restore their timeless pieces. We operate in a multi-billion-dollar luxury segment valued at 16.9 billion in 2025. As we are, although we are similar to any other garage out there, we stand out by providing a one-of-a-kind ownership, a storytelling with each restoration, and an elite selection of cars in our portfolio. We operate in function full complete restoration from engines, interiors, electrical, A to Z of a car. Currently, we have completed multiple restoration projects and we have more in the pipeline. And we're looking for a strategic partnership and network to move forward in our business operations.
You actually restore the car yourself?
Yeah, with a garage.
Yeah, it's back to the same point I made earlier. There's a physical activity involved. You will make a nice lifestyle business out of it. Can you build a large scalable business? You have to find an activity which is unorganized and organized. If there are people, mechanics, garages all over India, how do I make them visible? How do I, give them branding? How do I become a light, software-driven middle? But if I have to do it myself, how many of these things can you do? Huge capital required, multiple cities, so can I find guys in Bombay, can I find in Bangalore, Chennai, who specialize in them and bring them under one umbrella, one brand? Yeah, you have a vintage starter store, you come to me and I help you take that there. So doing it yourself is not a way to go to build a large scalable business at this time. It's a business, but it's not venturable business funded by the VCs. VCs require a business to be stable, very rapidly. Very rapidly. And it's impossible to do that when you have a digital component in your business.
Thanks.
Thank you for your advice, sir, to the student founders.
Student founders, please come. Yes, sir.
We request the teachers to come up to take a picture.
Hey guys, # Kanwal Rekhi.
Now we
Big word from Anila and the
starting
We thank our valuable time and the valuable insights that all of you all have shared with us. We request Anila ma'am to come up and share more than that.
Luxury right now because I know that all the dignitaries, including our Vice Chancellor, have series of appointment. But all I can definitely say is a heartfelt gratitude to everybody here, especially my dear students. Thank you so much for doing whatever best you could have done. They are always backing us up. I told you have to come early in the morning, and sir was here much before all of us. Always we learn from you, sir. Every day we feel that there's something more to learn. Very minor things, but very important things to learn from you. Thank you, sir, so much for being here. It means a lot to the entire entrepreneurship team. Thank you so much, Kanwal Rekhi, sir. It's just an absolute honor. That's all I can say. It is an absolute honor that you graced the occasion. I think there is going to be some sort of synergy and relationship which we will create. And this is not going to be just a one-off event out here. I'm sure with the backing of Chenraj sir, our founder and Chancellor Dinesh sir, we'll be able to create something which will give all the audience here and many more to come a huge opportunity to think and execute entrepreneurship. I think that is what is my takeaway. Thank you so much, Vinay sir, Madan sir, Gaurav Bed sir, for being here. We'll have many more conversations.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I would request the audience to kindly rise as the dignitaries leave for the day. We will continue with the event once we leave. Thank you. I'll just tell the boys to carry.
Who is accompanying, sir?
I'll give it to Ayushi.
For me,
No, it's a small token from us. We would like. Understand, deliver these out there. Whatever service I did, it was very appreciative.
Every time I go to the airport, I need to one.
We were thinking,
500 rupees per kilo.
yes, we were thinking what we should we can do, we can take it.
All right,
We decide which we can take.
We request all the students to remain seated